Thank you for joining our session this morning. My name is Patricia Bodiford. I'm the Bureau Chief for the Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services, and I'm here today to provide some general updates to everyone. Welcome. For our agenda today, we'll talk about the Florida Department of Education's mission, vision, and goals, and then our exceptional student education policies and procedures, current data, State Performance Plan Annual Performance Report, SPP-APR, our ESE Parent Survey. As you can see, there are cards on your chairs as well for that QR code, resources, and contact information. FDOE's mission, vision, and goals. FDOE emphasizes that it's appropriate that all students with disabilities are all students first, and we want to ensure proficiency at the highest level and a seamless, efficient system. Here are FDOE goals based on our strategic plan, and keeping in mind that this includes all students with disabilities as well. Next, we have FDOE emphasizes students with disabilities educational results through our Florida statutes. This is a statute from our health care, so Title V, Chapter 19, Section 39.0016. Improving educational results for children with disabilities is an essential element of our public policy of ensuring equality of opportunity, full participation, independent living, and economic self-sufficiency for individuals with disabilities. So, our Bureau of Exceptional Education and Student Services is within our Division of Public Schools at the Florida Department of Education. We have 5 sections within our unit. So the Hope Florida unit is our brand new unit to BEESS. We have 9 Hope Navigators and 1 Hope Florida Director, and they serve students with disability ages 3 through 5. Then we have our dispute resolution and monitoring section, and they handle all of our alternative resolutions with mediations and state complaint and due process, and Mr. Milton will present later today on that session. And then we have instructional support services, and that is our area for all of our primary exceptionality programs and content and all of our courses that we review that have to pertain to students with disabilities. Then we have our program accountability, assessment, and data systems section. That's our PADS team, and they support all of our fiscal grants through our IDA Part B allocation and our data, federal reporting requirements. And then we have student support services section, and they help with anything regarding school nursing, school counselors, Medicaid, high school graduation, and student pupil progression. So here are a few acronyms that I will often refer to throughout the presentation, but also some of my staff throughout their sessions here at the Family Cafe. So IDEA is Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. SWD, Students with Disabilities. ESE, Exceptional Student Education. LEA, Local Educational Agency. This is typically interchangeably used with the word district. Individual Educational Plan would be IEP, FAPE, Free Appropriate Public Education. SDI, Specially Designed Instruction. Access Points, Alternate Academic Achievement Standards. OSEP is our Office of Special Education at the U.S. Department of Education level, and then parentally placed private schools would be PPPSS, and we have a presentation for that later today as well. So here's our definition for IDEA when we talk about students with disabilities. And we have 16 areas of eligibility throughout the state of Florida. So here are the list of the exceptionality categories within Florida. So here we'll get into current data. So for 24-25, Survey 2, which is our fall data, this is our total population of students with disability by category. As you can see here, our highest category of students, percentage-wise, would be specific learning disability, and then in second place would be speech impairment and language impairment. Another growing area that we see right now in our other categories would be hospital homebound. Here, as you can see, this is our total population of students with disabilities across the state, and you can see that we are steadily increasing our population. So last year, we were at 15.4%, and this year we're at 15.7%. Essential elements for providing the foundation for success for students with disabilities. These are essential elements that our Bureau and also our IDA-funded state projects use throughout the state to help support all of our stakeholders. So data-based decision-making, making sure that we're making decisions that are informed by data, specially designed instruction, providing that specially designed instruction that is the need for the student within their IEP by a certified ESE teacher. Ongoing assessment, universal screening, and progress monitoring, making sure that we're continuing to do those progress monitoring of the IEP goals. And then evidence-based instructional and behavioral interventions and supports. You may hear that through a multi-tiered system of supports, also known as MTSS, throughout your child's IEP throughout their school career. District and school leadership that facilitates that improvement. And then parent and family engagement through the education process, remembering that you are that IEP team member as well as everyone else on the team as a parent. Individual educational plan, what parents need to know, some elements of that plan. These are a general overview, of course, accommodations and modifications, progress monitoring of annual goals, and placement and related services. These are our state performance plan, annual performance report results indicators. And one of the indicators that I have highlighted today is our indicator 8, which is our parent involvement indicator. And this is how we measure our involvement with feedback from our parents and stakeholders through the ESE parent survey with the cards on the chairs. Usually the survey runs from May to June. This year we've kind of changed the survey a little bit, so I'll talk about that later in the presentation, but this is the results from that survey is reported to the federal USDE, or Office of Special Education. These are our results indicators, so the blue will be our results indicators, and on the next slide you'll see green. That will be our compliance indicators that we monitor. And then parental involvement. So we'll get into indicator 8. So indicator 8 is the percent of parents with a child with receiving special education services who report that schools facilitated parental involvement as a means of improving services and results for children with disabilities. The window opened February of 2025 and will close June 30th of 2025. We have a web-based application and we have a paper-based format. Our web-based application does have over 13 different languages, and our paper-based format has 3, English, Spanish, and Haitian Creole. We also have a new format of the survey this year. We've updated the survey to be more mobile-friendly, user-friendly, shorter, easier to understand, and some other updates for our data reporting. We have a public-facing dashboard that I forgot to mention. That shows our results as they're coming in real time for 24-25, but also our results from 23-24. You can view those results by each district as well if you wanted to get down to the district level. Here's our QR code for the 24-25 ESE parent survey. I'll pause here. I see some taking screenshots. We have our parental involvement, so this is some data, trend data over time from 2019 to 2022, 23, 24. So this shows our response rate. Now, what has changed over time from 22, 23 to 23, 24 is the paper-based. So it was all paper-based format, and it changed over to a SurveyMonkey format. That was our vendor to a web-based application only. So our data response rate decreased when we did that. And then so we have slowly been rising back up with a new vendor and a different type of application so that we could use more than just a web-based application. We also have the paper-based as well. Here are some indicator 8 trends. So with our targets, here you can see pre-K and 12. So we have a pre-K ESC parent survey and a K through 12 parent survey. So there's two separate targets and trend data here. Here is a breakdown of the actual response rate in the target for 23-24. And then we also in Florida at the department in our bureau, we have what we call size-alike districts. So we have very large, medium, and small. And so these are some of the districts that were highlighted with the highest percentage rate within that size-alike. So here are some results from that public-facing dashboard. When you open it, it will be very colorful based on the responsive agreement. So this is our K through 12 overall response rate for 23-24. And then our pre-K overall response rate for 23-24. Next, we'll get into our state advisory panel for the education of exceptional students. This year, we have new members. Every 3 years, we must have new members apply and be appointed to the board. Over 51% of our members must have either be a parent of a child with a disability or be an individual with a disability. These are the requirements for the memberships. As you can see, like I just mentioned earlier, parents of children with disabilities ages birth through 26, individuals with disabilities, teachers, representatives of institutions of higher education that prepare special education and related services personnel, state and local educational officials, Title 12, sorry, I got lost, 5, 6, 7. Title 7 of the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act, administrators of programs for children with disabilities, representatives of other states' agencies involved in the financing or delivery of the related services for students with disabilities. Representatives from private schools and public charter schools, representatives of vocational, community, and business organization concerned with the provision of transition services for children with disabilities, representatives from the state child welfare agency responsible for foster care, and representatives from the state juvenile and adult corrections agencies. We meet with them quarterly throughout the year, and they advise us on many different policy-making decisions. Here are their 5 duties throughout the year on the state advisory panel. Exceptional student education policies and procedures. To view a district's approved policies and procedures, you can visit the website linked above. The policies and procedures is intended to provide parents of exceptional students and district and school-based personnel and other stakeholders with information regarding the implementation of the state's and school districts' policies regarding ESC programs. These policies and procedures and statute are required to be updated once every 3 years. However, we are updating them annually at this point. Not the whole entire policies and procedures, but maybe only the sections that need an update may require that. There is a process within that approval. It must go through our Bureau for review and then back to the local educational agency's school board for approval. And then once the school board approves during those approval process, then it will be uploaded to that website linked on the slide earlier. And then resources. So here are important FDOE web links. We have our BEESS homepage. We also put out a BEESS weekly memo every week on Friday, and that is also archived. So we have our current memos that are on there for the year, and then we have an archived link as well. I encourage you to go visit that link to learn more about any current updates for our Bureau weekly. We also have the parent information webpage, and that's where we have the parent survey and our public-facing dashboard and any other parent resources. More will come to that soon as far as products and guidance that you may need. We have our Hope Florida webpage, which is a brand new webpage again because they're a new unit within the Florida Department of Education. There is a presentation from us at 10 a.m. tomorrow and Celebration 8, if you would like to learn more about Hope Florida at the Florida Department of Education. We also have the Build Resiliency Florida. That will also be part of that presentation tomorrow. And then we have our Student Support Services webpage for all of those other areas of need, school counselors, graduation requirements, military, and Medicaid. Then we have our Division of Vocational Rehabilitation and our Division of Blind Services. We also have IDA-funded state projects. We have about 87 of these projects that are funded through IDA dollars, but also through state dollars. So the Florida Diagnostic and Learning Resources System, also known as FIDLERS Network. And then we have the Center for Autism and Related Disabilities, CARD. And then we have the Resource Materials and Technology Center for the Deaf and Hard of Hearing, RMTC-DHH. Then we have the Multi-Agency Network for Students with Emotional Behavioral Disabilities, also known as SEDNet. We have Learning Ally, Florida Instructional Materials Center for the Visually Impaired, FIMC-VI, and the Access Project. And then my contact information. Thank you for joining. If you have any questions, please join me after the session.